The massive fire that nearly destroyed Paris's historic Notre Dame Cathedral is now out. We have a live look at the cathedral this morning. Firefighters battled the flames there for more than 12 hours yesterday. A major renovation project was underway when the fire actually started.
Flames brought down the spire and part of the roof of the iconic building. Now, prayers and offers to help are pouring in from around the world. CBS News foreign correspondent Seth Doan reports from Paris.
As vicious flames engulfed the 850-year-old masterpiece of Gothic architecture, France's president said a part of us is burning.
I saw a lot of people crying on the streets, and it's all because it's the symbol of France, it's the symbol of generations.
The fire broke out in the attic around 6:50 local time, about 5 minutes after Notre Dame closed for the day. It spread to the roof at the rear of the cathedral. In less than an hour, flames spread to its giant spire, which just 13 minutes later collapsed. 400 firefighters battled, but at times appeared dwarfed by the fire, which tore through the soaring structure, fueled by the wood of 1,300 oak trees that made up part of an interior network of wooden beams. Dropping heavy water from the air was not an option for fear it had caused the entire structure to collapse. 2/3 of the roof was ravaged. But medieval stonemasons may have saved Notre Dame by doing such a good job on the buttresses that survived the fire. There was a rush to save artwork and artifacts. Paris's mayor said the Holy Crown of Thorns and other precious pieces had been successfully recovered. Today we're getting our first look inside, where the cross on the altar appears to shine amid the devastation. Stone saints look toward firefighters, and some pews survived. Attention is now turned to the stained glass windows and the organ, one of the oldest in the world. Notre Dame had become one of the most popular sites in Paris, attracting about 30,000 visitors a day, around 13 million a year. During the fire, onlookers crowded onto bridges and streets, watching in horror. Powerless, some prayed or broke into song. The French president was defiant. The worst has been avoided, he said, adding, "We will rebuild."
CBS News correspondent Elaine Cobbe is with us now from Paris. Elaine, what is it like right now?
Good morning, Anne-Marie. Good morning, David. Thousands of Parisians and visitors have been thronging the bridges and the quays around Notre Dame, unable to believe that the spire is really gone, that this very important part of their beloved city has been so badly damaged. Behind me you can see Notre Dame. The stone shell has survived, but the inside, a lot of it has been burned. That roof is gone, the spire is gone, and people here are still reeling in shock. A lot of sadness, a lot of people still saying, how could this have happened? How could it have come apart so quickly?
Elaine, there were a lot of us who were watching this yesterday, and from the vantage point we had, we couldn't see a lot of fire trucks. And there were a lot of people who were saying, where are the firefighters? Why isn't this going a lot faster? But then people started to respond and say, hey, hold on, there are fire trucks, you just can't see them. Set the scene for us as it was yesterday and sort of temper some of those initial, what the heck has taken them so long to put this out feelings.
You have to remember that the Ile de la Cité is an island in the Seine, and this is where Paris first began. So they are narrow streets. So you didn't have a huge area for fire trucks to just come on up and sweep around. They had to go through the narrow streets. So they're not visible from the side where cameras were allowed. People were evacuated immediately, they knew. Firefighters first were sent inside to douse a lot of the interior in water to try to save all the wood inside. There are wooden pews, wooden walls in there. So that was an important part of the initial work. There was a police drone overhead watching how the roof was progressing and the fire up there, and at one point told the firefighters, get out of there, that roof could collapse on you, and they sent in a robot instead with a water hose. There were also suggestions that water could be dropped from the air, but in fact that could have caused the entire structure of the roof and that part to collapse and also cause damage to buildings nearby. So there were a lot of firefighters there and some fire trucks, but they weren't all right on the scene. The firefighters had to stretch hoses in around, and of course it took them a bit of time to get all the ladders up on the building because it's a very tall building.
You know, I've been to Paris only twice, but when I think of the cathedral, it is one of the structures that I sort of use to become oriented. Where, you know, I'm this far from the Eiffel Tower, and then over here is where the cathedral is, and I get a sense of where I am in the city. You've lived in Paris for many, many years. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of this structure within the landscape of Paris?
Well, it's not just important for people to say, I'm here, so the other things must be here. In front of Notre Dame is the point from which all distances in France are measured. There's a bronze circle there, a disc, from which that is point zero, and everything else is measured from there. And it's very much the heart of the city. This is where Paris first began. It's where Paris was first built. And to people who live in Paris, it's very much, you know, a heart of the city. It's a place they go. And also the church is very important, not just to Catholics, but to Parisians, because it's got the whole history around it. And let's not forget either that, you know, they started building it in 1163, and this cathedral survived the French Revolution when so many other buildings didn't, and much of the Catholic Church in France didn't. It survived the 100-Year War. It survived 2 world wars last century. And for it to go up in flames so quickly and to watch that spire go so quickly, that was really shocking for many people here.
Indeed. Elaine, thank you so much.